So, here I am streaming again. It's Monday, and I decided to have a drink when I do this. Maybe this will encourage me. This is Anders Ericsson's latest video, Pink Gin. It's pretty good. Anyhow, the point of this is that I made a video a few months back called Emotions Aren't Real, and I thought I maybe some of the people on Reddit would like to comment on it. And oh, did they? So I posted our psychology, and we're gonna go through those comments. Like, I got zero on the post. That was that is a sign of things to come. So our first comment, the top comment, says the lack of consensus doesn't make something not real, and real is something that refers to too many levels. Hallucinations are real. They are measurable and have effects and can reliably, to some extent, be reproduced. They are not what they appear to be, though. Yeah, if your top comment is going for relativism, I think you're in for a bad time. Um, I believe this comment, like most of them, happened without watching my video at all. I think the ones that actually watch my video will be clear, but I do confess I called this emotions aren't real, and look at this thumbnail. I mean, if let's say, can you see the idiot expressions? If you want to get some attention on YouTube, I figure you gotta pump the gas a little. I may have overdone it. I may have gone into the annoying but not compelling area. I'm still working on it. Though I do defend myself, this isn't rage. It is rage bait, but it's not bait. It's not untrue. I do conclude that emotions aren't real, but in a way that you're probably not expecting. Um, that is the real conclusion. And the post was removed. So, anyhow, not without getting some good troll comments. Uh, so I respond back. I say, I agree with that. Um, Many things are real. What does it mean to be real? I say, I go into much more detail in the video, and the whole emotions aren't real thing was just to catch people's attention. I may have come on a little strong. A better summary of my video is there is no scientific consensus on a definition of emotion. Two, what are currently competing definitions and their strengths and weaknesses. Three, none are very good. Is there a problem? And four, conclusion, nope. The term emotion doesn't bring much value to neuroscience or psychology. Avoid using it and you won't miss anything. This is at -1 upvotes. Oh, yeah. So, so there's this all falcons are black responds. I'm pretty sure constructionist theories of emotion are the general consensus. Oh my God, I hate this. Uh, no, they're not. All right. A lot of people seem to talk from their echo chambers and they confuse that for a consensus. But I did a pretty deep and wide dive into the literature, and I can assure you that those are not the consensus. The specifics of which are up for debate, but you can make similar arguments to come to the same conclusion about cognition. Well, not wrong there. Cognition is stupid too. I haven't made that video yet. Cognition is a word you will never hear me use unless it is criticism. I figure if you have to say cognition, there's probably a better word that you should be using. Even the definition of life lacks a scientific consensus. Oh my God! Now they're devolving into relativism. It's defined descriptively as a product of different processes. That doesn't mean the concept doesn't offer any value as a foundation of scientific inquiry. I mean, it kind of does, and life does have a pretty good definition. I am a biologist, so maybe you should shut up and talk about something that's in your wheelhouse. It seems your conclusion is based on the idea that scientific categorization without distinct essentialist applicability has no scientific value. No, that was not my conclusion, but thanks for not watching. But categorization in science is a necessary step in understanding how lower level oh my god, I can't even read this. If we're going to talk about something, we need a definition. If I just said, hey, is Blubelnorf real? And I didn't tell you what that was, what kind of intelligent conversation could we even have? Well, I'm sorry, but emotion is the same kind of thing. You say it, everybody hears something different, even on the scientific level. There are so many different competing definitions that it is essentially useless. Um, okay, so I respond. Oh, yeah, I'm really stirring the pot here. In my research, constructionist theories did not appear to be the general consensus at all in either neuroscience or psychology. If you could point out to me what I missed that would verify that, I'd be appreciative. My definition of life only requires the property of self replication, but I'm a biologist, so I understand if others disagree. And then I quote, it seems your conclusion is based on the scientific categorization without distinct yada yada. I say, wow, I must have made a major miscommunication because that is not how I feel at all. Excuse me. Ooh, a lot of gin in that one. The point I was attempting and failing to make was that definitions of emotion either seem to exclude mental or physiological phenomena that are widely considered to be emotions, or to make it so broad that nearly all psychological phenomena are included. This is what makes the classification of emotion inherently not useful. Yep, 0 upvotes on that. All falcons are black. So, I saw this guy's making me mad. I'm supposed to be. The point of this is to kind of reflect and maybe talk through some of these things, but they're making me mad already. Maybe I shouldn't drink while I do this. Dude. And I was supposed to sit down too, and there's a cat here. Um, I don't think there's any disagreement that emotion is deeply integrated with cognitive and physiological networks. That said, I'm confused as to why you would then assume that makes a classification of emotion inherently not useful. I did skim your video. Oh, thanks. And it seems you're working with some outdated models of emotion as having distinct biological circuitry with distinctive behavior responses. You bring up facial expression research, for example, but that has been consistently invalidated for a while now. Yeah, um, tell that to Pixar. As far as this is just this is just so wrong. This person doesn't have a clue. I'm sorry, that's mean. I should not. They're making me mad. It's that simple. They got under my skin. It's just not listening to anything I say and not having any really good thing to say about it. As far as you mentioning the lack of distinction between emotions and feelings, I don't think I said anything about that, but well, let's see where he's going. I think you're missing some of the established nuances. Feelings are classified as the sensations resulting from pattern responses to interoceptive stimuli and connected to basic physiological drives. No, they're not. Again, this person is just making up nonsense. Emotions are classified as higher order experiences of affect constructed through a combination of exteroceptive stimuli, feelings, prior experience, and no. Nope. No. Dumb. Uh, maybe I should check some of these out. But the truth is, I already went through everything I could find in print and online. And I'm not sure where these are coming from. I will go back and take a look. I didn't realize they were there. Are these new? I guess the guy just made me upset and I didn't notice. Let's see. Emotions are valences attached to your long-term memory so you can remember the cause in the future and either take no. It's not. I can assure you, I read a lot of definitions of emotion, and not one of them said that. So people are just making things up. Second top comment. This makes me unreally angry. That is funny. That is very funny, and I appreciate that. And then I respond, did I go too hard with emotions aren't real, just trying to drive engagement? Things like anger, fear, joy, sadness clearly are real, but what about hunger, sleepiness, or sexual arousal? Are those emotions or not? And does it matter? I guess that is the question I'm trying to explore. All right, let's see if we can get a good, honest comment. In all honesty, though, personally, I think the word emotions is an aporetic holophase. Oh, God. Let's read through it. This doesn't concern me, though, because while it cannot be rooted down to something fixed, it can be adequately stabilized by shared consensus and dialectic inquiry. Okay, that didn't say anything. It just seems for your purposes with computation and scientific inquiry, you want a less broad definition. No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. This is fine, but I suspect that the more you narrow it down, the more the specific conditioner of the qualitative referent will affect the definition. Deficit of calories for hunger, friction and visual stimulation for sexual arousal. No. Such that you will need to bind these definitions with some interconnections. That is gobbledygook. As for sexual arousal and sleepiness, mainly as tired, yes, I would count them as emotions. I don't know about hunger. I think there are subtler secondary productions of these sensations, such as touch, that can be emotions. Touch is an emotion? Or no, it's things related are emotions. I don't know. That seems reasonable. Emotional etymologically comes from ex out and movere move, and I would see it as meaning that it leads to action and or expression, even if that action or expression is passive. The problem with this definition, which isn't bad, but wouldn't that make all behaviors emotions? I mean, do you need emotion to have a behavior? Do you need a behavior to have an emotion? That is interesting, but it seems to be overly broad. If everything is an emotion, I mean, nothing is. As examples, anger to violence, sadness to crying, sleepiness to rest, but these clearly are not fixed outcomes. Yeah, I agree that things we consider emotions often have some kind of response, a standard response, aversive or attractive. Emotions may be grouped into complex sets. Grief is reminiscence, sadness, confusion, etc. Emotions may overlap and interpenetrate, such as fear and arousal from kinks. Let's forget we read that. Anyway, I didn't really have a track of response for you in mind. I just unreally interested in explicating some of these and responding. Yeah, actually, a lot of this was pretty thoughtful response. I mean, I appreciate it. I don't care if people agree with me or not. I do hope that it inspires maybe some thought and a thoughtful response. So I do think you shot yourself in the foot with saying emotions are not real because, well, most of us have experienced them firsthand. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to new titles. You could change a title at any time. Maybe I can get new responses. This person says sensations are not emotions. There really isn't anything to question here. And I don't understand who said sensations are emotions. I'm not sure where that came from. Oh, and that's what I say. I'm confused with what you're trying to say. Are you implying that hunger is a sensation and not a feeling? How anger is an emotion and hunger not makes little rational sense. Hunger has a subjective component on the unpleasant side. It results in a clear physiological response associated with specific hormones, and it temporarily changes behavior to food seeking. Seems like a legit emotion to me. -2 votes on that one. And then this guy starts just pasting definitions, and that seriously was not constructive. And somebody says, thinking about this has made me feel really unreally sleepy. Yeah, okay. Second time for the joke is not as funny. For a better understanding, I recommend reading this. And I did. And I respond, I'm just looking for a definition. Do you know of one, or does it require reading the entire book? -11. Oh boy, ouch. So, I didn't watch your video, just read your title. You know that's going to spawn just the most thoughtful feedback possible. I'm a therapist. You crack cocaine novice is a therapist. Well, that tracks. Sorry, I don't want to. There we go. The premise of your post represents a huge issue with current Western thought. Oh, great, we've got a new age kook. We can only value what can be measured, defined, etc. There's plenty that is absolutely real that doesn't fit into what we can be measured, defined. I mean, like what? Like nonsense? What, fiction? We've become so reliant on science, we started regarding things that can't be studied by science as non-existent. It's like, I'm not I'm not getting the feeling from our current political and social climate that people value science one single whit. All right, we are anti-intellectual and anti-science, and to have these new age kooks be like, "Oh, don't believe in just what can be proven, then you won't buy my supplements." But shut up. Um, I don't even want to read this guy. Let's skip it. It's making me mad. Okay. Buddha was gay. All right, that's okay. Now I'm interested to see what Buddha was gay has to say. Emotions are coordinated responses to external stimuli that involve cognitive appraisals, physiological changes, subjective experience, and behavioral tendencies, which typically serve adaptive functions for an individual. That seems a little ambiguous, though, doesn't it? I could see how any physical reaction would qualify for your definition. Are sports emotions? -10. No, sports are not mental physiological states. You're in the psychology subreddit, not philosophy of language. Okay. I reread your definition, and you did not use the term mental physiological states anywhere in it. Would you like to revise your definition? I am asking in good faith in an attempt to find a good definition. I don't think you did reread their definition, as I reread your responses and get the impression you read something else entirely. Okay, I read it again and I must be missing something. You, Buddha was gay, said emotions are a coordinated response, not a mental physiological state. You're in the psychology subreddit. What else would we be talking about if not mental states? Wow, that was a huge hole of nothing. Somebody pastes in theory of constructed emotion, which I did read, and it sucked. But other than that, it didn't define emotion. It was talking about theory of emotion, and what's the point of a theory if you don't know what your theory is about? So I, I just pasted in the wiki for emotion. There is no scientific consensus on a definition, which there is no scientific consensus on a definition. It's right there in the first paragraph of Wikipedia. And yet our psychology somehow doesn't believe that that exists. They know better. OP is either being deliberately obtuse or is someone's idea of a chat GPT experiment or prank. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Hi, social psychologist here. This is just patently false. We have had a scientific consensus about what emotions are for decades. Again, I looked and there isn't any. So this guy's talking from an echo chamber. Emotions are specific physiological experiences our brain interprets as emotions. Wait, did he just define emotions as emotions? All emotions carry two attributes, affect and arousal. See the affective circumplex model. Yeah, I have. There are many theories of emotion, including ones with 3 or even 5 components. Many of the published sources I've read come right out and blatantly state that there is no consensus. If you could point me in the direction of a source that says different, I would be appreciative. I must have missed it somewhere. See, that's me trying to be nice. Yeah, I don't do a very good job. I should stick with my strengths and try to be annoying. I already did. I literally explained it to you. Oh my god. The video is not putting forward a serious argument. It tries to equate hunger with emotion, which is really silly. Which, of course, somebody early on said they thought hunger was an emotion, and betrays a lack of familiarity with the literature. Hunger is a drive. That's not a thing. We experience it to push us to eat because we die if we don't. There are no emotional experiences that can kill us on their own. Really? So fear does not encourage us to escape from danger that could kill us? Yeah, that doesn't make a lick of sense. Joe Sabo, PhD. Emotions are inherently social and occur in response. No, that is not true. Emotions are not inherently social. This is just bunk. And occur in response to emotion evoking stimuli. Whoa, emotions come from emotion evoking stimuli? Hunger only occurs in complete absence of the relevant stimuli. No, this is just hooey. There is a disagreement about which emotions are primary and which are secondary. There is a discussion about that, and I don't know if it's very science based though, but there is an interesting discussion out there in the literature. There are plenty of other theoretical squabbles about emotions, but this simply is not one of them. Um, well, I found a lot of literature that said it was. And if you did happen to find some paper talking about this, I feel pretty safe betting it did not include empirical evidence. This has been well studied for decades. We know what emotions are. Damn. Anyone can be right through the magic of pretending. And I say, I disagree. I think being correct is a rigorous scientific process using reason and evidence. 2 down votes. Okay. You can't explicitly quantify or codify everything. Doesn't mean shit's not real. And there's some serious appeal to authority type fallacy thinking to so much of what you're saying in your comments. Okay, where do is that even worth responding to? No, because I didn't even respond to it. Not impressed by this rage-baity BS that could be outright harmful just for the sake of being some edgelord for clicks. Haven't watched and will not watch. Yeah, that's. Thanks for bringing so much to the table, Chemical Bad 1248. Aussietism. That's funny. So, deleted. This was a comment that basically it. Well, I can't say I didn't ask for it. It was some kind of making fun of my stupid face is what it was doing, and I deserved that. Not gonna lie. I can handle it. You know, when you go on the internet, you gotta have some thick skin. And then this person says, "Looks like a soy jack montage." So I had to look it up. Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Oh my god. And I'm like, damn, nobody says that to Vsauce. I think it was something about being bald and beardy, but anyhow. Mad, sad, glad. Those 3 are real, and you need to be honest with yourself about feeling them, or you'll go crazy. The rest are just thoughts. Oh, and I respond, they are real. I'm sorry if I implied they weren't. I just think of them as very different things that should not be grouped together into a single category. And God talks to idiots. Again, excellent username. I meant you yourself as everyone, not you specifically. Great video. Maybe a little long, but well made. The first positive comment. That was nice. See, And God talks to idiots is my favorite responder so far. People want something. They just don't know what to call it yet, considering time. Is that a bot? Also true of the wind. The wind doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure it does. Neither is the mind because there is zero consensus on that. They can't even find it. Honestly, that's pretty. You know what? Now here at the bottom, some of these comments are getting pretty good. And I respond, but that's the difference. We admit we don't know. With emotions, we assume that we do. I think that assumption might be unearned. See, there's some good conversation. Comprehensive Block 77 says, in an occult perspective, you can't experience something that doesn't exist. Aha, see, now they're getting good. You gotta scroll down for the good ones. Let's see, I respond. My point that got lost because I was trying too hard to be provocative is that things we consider to be emotions like fear, joy, sadness, etc. are very different phenomena that have no business being classified as the same thing. As for experiencing things that don't exist, I was reading a Star Wars book earlier. It was Plagueis. Clearly fiction, but I experienced it. Maybe we can experience things that exist in different universes, but something in one system doesn't necessarily exist in any other. So what you said is true, from a certain point of view. Oh, God, I'm such a Star Wars nerd. Help me. Comprehensive Block 77 response. Indeed, fear, joy, and sadness are states of being that are directly caused by intense emotions, which is just energy. He did start with the whole occult thing, didn't he? All right, so yeah, you get a pass, sir. Or ma'am. Star Wars, the book exists. You just told me you read it and experienced it. If it didn't exist, you would not have been able to read it. As human beings, we can't even discuss anything that doesn't exist because that's what we do, bring things into existence. Take George Lucas, for example. An excellent point. He brought Star Wars into existence through the guise of movies. It started in his imagination. The things you imagine exist because you exist. This is the kind of discussion that I was looking for. Beautiful. That was poetic and well worth reading. Thank you, Comprehensive Block 77. I really think you should do some more reading on the topic because emotions have to be real because they have emotion regulators that they know the part of the brain that deals with emotion. You damage the part of your brain that deals with emotion. Yep. Look up limbic system. I hope I was nice. Let's see what I said. I assure you I have. It's an outdated concept of the brain. Oh, yeah, I hate the limbic system. We have discovered much more rigorous systems in the brain using fMRI and other modern imaging techniques, and I included a link to the academic dispute of the limbic system. And Comprehensive Block says the larger processing plant is the mind, which does exist, but they can't find it. They don't know where it is. And then I say the mind is what the brain does. And then he goes, I'll come back here later because the mind preceded the brain. That's all we know about it so far. And I respond, that can't be true. We know that we can alter the mind in any way with neurotoxic chemicals or specific injuries. The mind is the software, the brain is the hardware. He retorts, drugs alter brain chemistry. The mind exists outside the brain and body. But like I said, I'll be back when I have some more facts. Talk to a few scholars and see what they're allowed to tell me and what I'm allowed to tell you. Now, this was the most interesting comment here. He's going to talk to scholars and see what they're allowed to tell me. He did start with the whole occult thing, so yeah, maybe there is a secret society. And this was 4 months ago, so if the secret society hasn't contacted me by now, I guess I'm unworthy. A little disappointing, but who can blame them? No, I say, do drugs exist outside the brain too? I don't understand your line of questioning. And I say, if the mind exists outside the brain and drugs can affect the mind, does that imply that drugs also exist outside the brain? Yeah, until you actually take them. Now they're in your body, making your brain do whatever it is the drug makes it do. Damaging your brain can cause you to lose your mind. Now, I would talk to that guy all day, though I was not invited into the esoteric group he was in, so still disappointing, but not surprising. What do we see? Emotions have different values for different people. The murderer slash destroyer, who may be filled with hatred, or in most cases have no feelings at all, compared to the creator, the artist, who uses a wide range of emotions to create, including the negative ones. The study of emotions is very in-depth. It's one of those classified things because it's used for control. Find some CIA PDFs. If you can, they usually know things that aren't public information. Yeah, I love this guy. Emotions are a way to describe experiences. No need to think too much about it. Ah, that was awful. No need to think about it. Like, shut up. Had to end with a crummy one. Uh, let's see. Let's take a look at a few of these. Let's see what navigating the science of emotion looks like. How long is this? Hmm. It is too long. I guess I'll have to go over it and come back. Kind of disappointed. I swear I went over this a couple times and I did not notice these. Well, oh well. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm arguing in our consciousness. Oh well. Um, I guess that's it. Just going over that. I think I'm going to try to do some live streams every Monday. And I think that next week I may do something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is read through Plato's Republic. And I have a thesis about Plato's Republic, which is that it is a manual for manipulative narcissists. The entire thing is just rhetoric to try to bamboozle people into obeying you without question. And that is sort of the lens that I'm going to take, a very sort of authoritarian, anarchist kind of lens to it. And I think that's going to be fun. And it's public domain, so, you can't take it down. Uh, I think, and I think that's it. Let's um, let's bring Kitty in to say goodbye. Come here, Kitty. Hello, guy. You purr for the camera.